that strike.
Welcome back. You're watching News X. We start with the top headlines of today. Prime Minister Modi visits Punjab's Zadampur Air Base and interacts with our brave soldiers days after India and Pakistan agreed to a ceasefire. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and the country's top military brass carry out a comprehensive review of the national security scenario. CDS Anil Chauhan, 3 service chiefs and NSA were all present at the meeting. 3 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists have been neutralized during an encounter with the armed forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Shopian district. Army launched a search and destroy operation after receiving specific input about the presence of 2 to 3 terrorists. Several schools in Jammu and Kashmir's non-border areas have reopened. The decision comes after a thorough security review by the Divisional Commissioner of Jammu. And the BJP is slated to launch a 10-day Tiranga Yatra to pay tribute to the Indian Armed Forces and highlight the success of Operation Sindoor. And as a precautionary measure, Indigo and Air India have cancelled flights to and from specific cities including Jammu, Leh, Srinagar, Barmer, Chandigarh, Rajkot today. Alright, some breaking news coming in, and according to the statement released by the Indian Army on the 13th of May 2025, which is today, based on specific intelligence of a Rashtriya Rifles unit about presence of terrorists in general area Shokal Keller in Shopian. Indian Army launched a search and destroy operation. During the operation, terrorists opened heavy fire and fierce firefight ensued, which resulted in elimination of 3 hardcore terrorists. The operation is still in progress. Ajay Jandyal, my colleague and our Jammu Bureau head, is joining us on the broadcast to give us more details about this. Ajay, days after the ceasefire, the terrorists are back to their old ways, trying to cross over, but India's resolve and India's new paradigm shift in policy will make sure that none of them are left alive.
Yes, Vineet, and I remember yesterday's Prime Minister's word that Operation Sindoor is not going to over. It is going to start against terrorism as well. And right after, within our hour of Pakistan's this statement, Prime Minister's this statement, operation was launched in Shopian, and 3 terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba have been neutralized by the security forces. So it's a big blow to the terrorists here in Jammu and Kashmir, and in especially South Kashmir, where we have seen that a Pahalgam terror attack, which took life of 26 people, have taken place. So, security forces, they are behind the terrorists, wherever they are hiding, they'll be neutralized as soon as possible.
Ajay, stay with us. Following a meeting called by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, NSA Ajit Doval has headed to Prime Minister Modi's house for a security brief, is what we are learning. And Pakistan has admitted that 11 Pakistani military personnel were killed during Operation Sindoor. This includes the 6 Pakistani Army soldiers and 5 Pakistani Air Force personnel as well. Ajay Jandyal, still with us on the broadcast. Ajay, Pakistan finally at least admitting to something.
You are right. But, they are accepting that, these soldiers, they have died in the Operation Sindoor. But the figure is, much higher. According to our information, about 50 to 60 security forces personnel of Pakistani Army, Air Force, and other they were killed by the Indian action, and this is basically this was carried out after terror attack took place. After this terror attack of 26, in which 26 people died in the Pahalgam, when terror launchpad and the training camps were decimated. These Pakistani forces, they started targeting our defense forces, and it was retaliation of the Indian forces which led to this Operation Sindoor, in which more than 50 to 60 security personnel were killed. But Pakistan is accepting this much of number. At least they are accepting, that is fine.
Right, more breaking news coming in. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has visited the Pakistani shelling affected area in Kupwara, is what we are learning. Well, the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir has been extremely proactive. In fact, he's been lauded and hailed for his proactive approach. He's visited all the sites that were destroyed and demolished during this battle, if we can call it, between India and Pakistan. Ajay is back with us on the broadcast. Ajay, Umar Abdullah, of course, defining the new meaning of his chief ministership, being very, very eager to reach out to those areas and people who've been affected by this small-scale, attempt by Pakistan.
Yes, Umar Abdullah is continuously visiting Jammu as well as in Kashmir and the affected areas where Pakistan have targeted the civilian houses and the civilian over there, and in 3-4 days long, cross-border firing. Umar Abdullah have visited Jammu first, where the houses were damaged, and then he moved to Punch. Punch, he met with the family members and other associations of Sikh community, where Gurdwara was also targeted, and today he is visiting Kupwara, which was also affected area because of the Pakistani shelling, where also Pakistan have targeted the civilians as well. So definitely now after this, tension between India and Pakistan is almost over. This is the responsibility of the Jammu and Kashmir government to ensure that people, those who are affected, they are getting, best possible, restoration, because they know that those who have lost their life, they'll not be able to live in that locations, and how to provide them facilities, how to provide them compensation, that has to be ensured by the state government.
All right, more breaking news coming in. Air India and Indigo have announced the cancellation of flights and operations in particular cities as a precautionary measure today, expressing concern about potential security or operational challenges in the region. They further have advised passengers planning to fly to or from these cities to check their flight status and contact the airline support channels for assistance with rebooking or refunds. Indigo issued a travel advisory stating that flights to and from Chandigarh, Leh, Srinagar and Rajkot are cancelled for today. Meanwhile, Air India issued travel advisory stating that flights to and from Jammu, Leh, Jodhpur, Amritsar, Bhuj, Jamnagar, Chandigarh and Rajkot are cancelled for today. Arzu, my colleague, is joining us on the phone line to give us more details about this. Arzu, this is just precautionary, although there is, peace at the front. These airlines are just being careful for the time being.
Yes, a flight to and from Jammu, Amritsar, Chandigarh, Leh, Srinagar and Rajkot have been cancelled for today, 13th May, due to the heightened tension between India and Pakistan. Moreover, if we talk about the current situation, things seems to be normal, but it's still yesterday evening there were some drone activities that were seen, and that's why these precautionary measures are being taken by the airline. Both Indigo and Air India have cancelled flights to these cities, prioritizing the passenger safety among the recent drone activity and also the security concern. And Indigo has specifically cancelled all flights to and from the mentioned cities, until 12 p.m. today, and citing latest developments and ensuring passenger safety. Also, Air India has also cancelled two-way flights to and from Jammu, Leh, Jodhpur, Amritsar, Bhuj, Jamnagar, Chandigarh and Rajkot, keeping passenger safety in mind. And also 32 borders airports are temporarily shut down. They have been, they have since reopened, allowing civil aircraft operation to resume. However, the airline are proceeding with cautions, and also it is being said that the passengers are advised to check their flight status on the airline's website or app before heading to the airport, so that there should be no problem that the passengers should face while the security checks, and also they should reach the airport early before their scheduled flight. Yes, Vinny.
All right. Well, days after Operation Sindoor was carried, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Punjab's Adampur airbase, where he was briefed on the security situation and also interacted with Jawans. The developments come days after India and Pakistan agreed to a ceasefire. Well, welcome to Jhutistan, where we expose the Pakistani media for spreading lies. This visit is significant. It is a big boost to the armed forces, and at the same time, it quashes all fake information that has been put out by Pakistan news publications. Dubious claim number 1, Pakistan claimed they hit Adampur runway. The claim number 2, Pakistan claimed that they hit the S-400 installations. Claim number 3, Pakistan hit Adampur radar as well. Claim number 4, Pakistan missiles destroyed our aircraft, is also, of course, nothing but fiction. Claim number 5, Adampur had been out of action for years. All these claims have been debunked, is what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. Major General Anuj Mathur, defense expert, with us on the show. Major General P.K. Sehgal also joins us on the program to talk more about this. General Mathur, well, this has been the narrative of Pakistan, sir, hasn't it? The government is obviously elected by the army. They can tell the government over there what to say to the people, to the Awam, and that's exactly what plays out. You know, it's like a fantasy movie that India gets to see. You know, it's in fact extremely entertaining to watch Shahbaz Sharif come out there and laud his soldiers, most of them who are in fact equally baffled by, you know, these claims to victory. General Mathur.
Vinny, I must tell you, I mean, you're calling it a fantasy. I mean, it's a comedy. It's a comedy film, you know.
That's a better word, actually.
Why Narendra Modi has chosen Adampur? Very important, 3-4 reasons. 1, it's a border airfield. Very important airfield. 2, this was the airfield which Pakistanis have always been claiming that they have destroyed Adampur airfield. They have destroyed the S-400 deployed there, and whatever you've covered. 3, the timing. He has moved there, wasting no time. Yesterday he has addressed the nation, and today he has gone to the people who have produced the results. It's the Air Force which delivered the telling blow. And he goes there and he talks to them. This is a true leader of men, true leader. He has proved it by his talk yesterday, and he has translated that on ground now. And he goes, meets them, takes a picture next to a MiG, takes a picture next to a S-400, and puts the morale into the airmen and air warriors who are there. So this is an amazing ability this gentleman has. Second thing that I want to tell you, we spoke a little bit about what the other Prime Minister is doing. He has no choice. He does what he's told to do, without any doubt. Whole world knows it. I can guarantee you, Vineet, there were Sukhois flying over Islamabad, which could be seen with naked eyes, and Islamabad could do nothing because we had degraded their air defense systems and their electronic warfare systems to that extent that we could actually go and play with them. This was a display of it was, you know, just rubbing salt on your wounds. So the fact that the difference is they came in much larger numbers, swarms, and could achieve nothing. We went in smaller numbers and on day 1 destroyed, neutralized, I'll not say destroyed, degraded their air defense capability, and then we go the next day and 11 airfields, we sort them out. And some dots are being connected, something else might, you know, figure out in some time from now. So that is the difference. And one thing I want to tell you, we just covered, we called Ajay there, and we covered that Sophia incident. This again, look at the timing. When our Bipin Rawat was saying we are prepared to take on 2.5 fronts, this is exactly what he meant, Vineet. We are full gear against the Pakistan. 100% people who are supposed to be up against the Pakistanis, they are there on that border. We are taking care of the Chinese and the Bangladeshis on the northern and the northeastern borders, and yet we are able to handle the insurgency issues, the terrorism issues in the hinterland. That is a very loud and clear message went on to the world that we are capable of handling 2.5 fronts at one time without hurt. And one more thing we've spoken about it many number of times. This was another message which went to the Air Force people that technologically we are far superior. The Indian indigenous technology has established itself in the last 3 days on the world map, Vineet.
Absolutely right, sir. General Sehgal, what do you make of India's emphatic victory here and the fact that Pakistan continues to not only lie to its own people but to the world as well? Where are the photographs that we very professionally displayed when the DGMO held that press conference? Where are the proofs that Pakistan says it has, but because of operational, in fact, confidentiality, they can't be put out? It all sounds like baloney to me.
Look, today the Indian Army, the armed forces, are the fourth strongest armed force in the world. As the Pakistani armed forces are 12th strongest armed force in the world. There is not major symmetry between the two. They are a nuclear nation. That notwithstanding, in flat 3 to 4 days, India completely defanged and decimated the Pakistani might. What we've been able to achieve is virtually converting the impossible into a possible. The entire world is stunned to see the capability and the proficiency of the Indian Army and the professionalism of the Indian Army. Prime Minister led the entire thing from the front. His decision-making capability, the political will that he displayed, the resolve of the nation was absolutely outstanding, giving the armed forces a carte blanche, free play, and allowing them to. He set out the political aim very, very clearly, and thereafter gave the armed forces a free hand to accomplish the political aim as they deem fit. And what the Indian armed forces were able to do is something that is absolutely no army in the world could have done it. The Americans couldn't do it, the Russians can't do it, the Chinese cannot do it, Israelis cannot do it. Look, the Americans are a superpower. They cannot beat, or they've not been able to defeat the Houthis. Israel has been struggling against Hamas, which has got no technology, no air defense, no air power for almost 19 months. Russia, which was also a superpower in its own right, has been fighting Ukraine for almost 3 years and not been able to achieve. What the Indian armed forces have displayed is something that is absolutely, totally unparalleled in the annals of warfare. No country ever will be able to achieve what we've been able to achieve, and that we've done so in exactly less than 96 hours. The Western world is finding it very difficult to digest what we've been able to achieve, and it is for this reason that Donald Trump claims that he was mediating, whereas we loud and clear said that there was no mediation whatsoever, nor do we accept any mediation. It was purely a bilateral relationship between the two, and it was the DGM of the Pakistani army who went crying to the rest of the world to save Pakistan from a devastation being unleashed by the Indian armed forces. And well, we have told them that the operation has been paused, but the operation has not come to an end. Operation Sindoor is continuing. Should they dare to wipe out the Sindoor of our ladies hereafter, this operation will continue, and we will absolutely and totally devastate and decimate Pakistan. They have got no doubts on it. We've done it. Today, they are completely naked. They're completely vulnerable. As the previous panelists said, the Sukhois are flying over, rubbing salt onto the wound. The Pakistanis have no air defense capability. They are absolutely vulnerable and naked. Indian Air Force can play absolutely merry hell into them. And Prime Minister's visit to the airbase of this morning was a salutation of sorts to the valor and the might of the air warriors of Adhampur. Adhampur is one of the very important bases, played a very major and critical role in 65 war, 71 war, as well as in this war. They were part and parcel of the entire effort that was used to completely demolish Pakistani air bases, Pakistani radars, Pakistani air defense system, and prove to the world that the equipment that was handed over to them by the Chinese or sold to them by the Chinese was absolutely useless and defunct. They could not. They launched 700 drones against us, launched several missiles against us. Not one of them was able to successfully hit any of the targets within the country. As far as we are concerned, we carried out virtually a surgical strike with a quality of precision that is once again not achieved by any country in the world other than the Americans and the Israelis. Russians also claim to have similar capability. They've been very wavered as far as Ukraine is concerned.
Absolutely right, sir. So I'll come back to you. We have some breaking news coming as well. During an interview with the Pakistani news channel Geo News, Pakistani Defence Minister Khawaja Asif has made tall claims stating that Pakistan top officials have cut ties with terrorism. Listen in.
नहीं कहते हम अपनी तफ्तीश नहीं करना चाहते दुनिया हमारी तफ्तीश करे कि आके के हम दहशतगर्दी करते हैं और जिन जगहों को इनमें निशाना बनाया है वहां पर दहशतगर्द ठिकाने हैं या नहीं, या जो दहशतगर्द जिनके नाम ये लेते हैं वो हमारे इधर हैं या कहीं और बैठे हुए हैं। ये बिल्कुल रिश्ते नाते जो है ना हमने कई सालों से जो है वो उनसे मुनक़ता कर लिए हुए हैं। उन लोगों से उनके रिश्तेदार वगैरह रहते होंगे, लेकिन दे आर एज बैड फॉर अस एज फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द।
Asavri is joining us on the phone line. Asavri, another bunch of lies by the minister from Pakistan. Earlier he made a fool of himself saying that Pakistan's source of information was social media, and now he's basically trying to prevent the world from reacting to that funeral which was attended by all top Pakistani ISI and military officials.
Right, absolutely, Vineet. You very correctly pointed out all those details. But again, just talking about this particular statement that has been made by Khawaja Asif, who is the Defence Minister of Pakistan. He is making these rather deceiving claims that Pakistan top officials have cut ties with terrorism. Let's not forget what just happened very recently in Pahalgam, and of course the activities that have followed since. And again, just speaking about these interactions that they're having, whether it's with their local media publications or internationally as well, many of their top officials, including Ishaq Dar, the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif himself, have gone to foreign media and made extremely tall claims. As you were correctly pointing out, Ishaq Dar and of course the Pakistani Prime Minister said that their source of information has of course been social media. And again, these details are coming in at this point of time. We don't know what exactly their motive is, whether that's sympathy internationally, or we don't know what exactly the motive is behind these statements. But again, deceiving statements there being made by Khawaja Asif at this point of time. Vineet, back to you.
All right, well, amidst escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, Indian travellers are increasingly choosing destinations seen as friendly allies, notably Armenia and Greece, while turning away from countries such as Turkey and Azerbaijan. As many as 12,000 posts have been put up on social media platform X, urging people to quit travel to Turkey and Azerbaijan. Aditya, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Aditya, why shouldn't it be so? Turkey and Azerbaijan are two countries which have openly supported Pakistan. They have brought up the matter of Kashmir, which is also none of their business.
Well, absolutely, Vineet. If you see, these are the two countries along with China, who completely supported Pakistan, and even Turkey even supplied missiles and warships to Pakistan, which cannot be, accepted at the fact, let's just put this into perspective that, for several years now, several number of Indians have been traveling to Turkey and adding to their tourism revenue, and still at this juncture, they are blindly supporting Pakistan and the Pakistani terrorists, which did this barbaric terror attack in Pahalgam. So it is indeed absolutely right, to boycott countries like Azerbaijan and Turkey, who support terror, and it needs to be seen that diplomatic relations between India and these two countries, Turkey and Azerbaijan, haven't been at good in the quite few years, and now in the coming years, in the coming time, diplomatic relations between these two diplomatic relations of India between with these two countries will certainly go down, and these two countries will definitely suffer a loss due to this. Yes, Vineet.
All right. Meanwhile, my colleague has filed a ground report. We're going to listen into that.
पर जिस तरह से बीते कई दिनों से तनाव की स्थिति बनी हुई है, तो इस बीच जब से सीज फायर एग्रीमेंट हुआ है, गोलाबारी रुकी हुई है, तो स्थानीय लोग जो वहां से प्लान करके बारामूला और श्रीनगर की तरफ जा रहे थे, उन्हें जो है अब ग्रीन सिग्नल मिल गई है। और ये आप जो बस देख रहे हैं भरी हुई, यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं ये सारे बच्चे, बुजुर्ग, महिलाएं जो है अब वापस अपने घरों की तरफ लौट रहे हैं, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं माहौल में जो है बेहतरी आई है, गोलाबारी जो है रुकी हुई है। आप चाचा अपना नाम बताएं, कहाँ से आप?
मैं गरकोट से हूँ।
अच्छा, गरकोट से कब आए थे इधर?
मैं कल परसों आया था।
अच्छा, परसों आए थे।
हाँ।
तो अभी वापस जा रहे हैं आप? क्या कहना चाहिए?
मगर हम नहीं कहा हमारा मकान खत्म हुआ, पूरा डैमेज
जल
पूरा टूट रहा है। फायरिंग से 3 लाख ये तोहफे पड़ी है। हाँ, बहुत फायरिंग।
अभी कहाँ रहोगे? वहाँ पे कहाँ रहोगे?
क्या करें फिर? किसी के घर अगर हुआ किसी को तो रहेंगे, नहीं तो क्या करेंगे।
फिलहाल माहौल कैसा है? क्या बोला गया आपसे? आपको क्या कहा गया कि माहौल फायरिंग रुक गई है वहाँ पे?
हाँ, आपने हमने ये सुना कि फायरिंग बंद हो गई है।
अच्छा,
तो आप घर में वापस आ जाओ।
तो जहाँ पे आप रह रहे थे क्या देखा था? उस समय क्या हुआ था जब आप वहाँ से निकल गए?
तोहफे पड़ी थी।
अच्छा,
हाँ, गोले पड़े थे। हाँ,
आप बताएं माँ, बताइए।
जी बहुत उधर शीलिंग हुई थी, बहुत उधर डैमेज है, पूरा कुछ है। हम उधर थे, हम कांपे हुए थे, हमें बहुत प्रॉब्लम थी। हम कांप के पता ही हमें भी नहीं पता रास्ता कहाँ है, हमें क्या कुछ पता नहीं है। ऐसे गिर के पड़े, बहुत लगी भी है शीलिंग के साथ भी, और कपड़े भी खराब, सब कुछ, घर भी खराब, पूरा कुछ डैमेज।
ये हाल है जो लगातार तनाव बना हुआ था लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल के इलाकों में। ये जो आप लोग देख रहे हैं इस बस में, अब वापस जा रहे हैं अपने घरों की ओर, क्योंकि फायरिंग जो है रुक गई है। और जिस तरह से सीज फायर हुआ है, उस सीज फायर की वजह से कहीं ना कहीं ये लोग जो है राहत की सांस ले रहे हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात यहाँ पर यह है कि जो दोनों देशों के बीच में कहीं ना कहीं समझौता हुआ है, उसकी वजह से ये लोग जो है आज आप देख सकते हैं, बच्चे भी हैं। आपका नाम क्या है?
शाजिया।
शाजिया, किस क्लास में पढ़ते हो?
तीसरी।
आप बताओ बच्चा।
दूसरी में।
तो इन दिनों स्कूल नहीं गए?
नहीं।
क्या देखा, कैसे भाग के आए इधर? देखिए ये मासूम बच्चे हैं और देख सकते हैं आप कि किस तरह के हालात लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल के इलाकों पे होते हैं। जब शेलिंग होती है तो उसकी वजह से ज्यादा लोग जो प्रभावित होते हैं, तो वो ये परिवार है जो अब अपने घरों की तरफ वापस लौट रहे हैं। हालांकि अभी इन्हें भी नहीं पता कि कब तक ये सीज फायर रहेगा, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जो आर्टिलरी फायर हुआ है, जो शेलिंग हुई है, उसका खमियाजा जो है ये स्थानीय लोग जो है जिन्होंने भुगता है। फिलहाल लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पर तनाव अभी बरकरार ही है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जो फायरिंग रुकी हुई है उसकी वजह से लोग जो है अब घरों की तरफ वापस लौट रहे हैं। फिरोज वानी के साथ आशिक मीर, इंडिया न्यूज के लिए।